under my eyes.
Have we done another movie where 2 is also?
Teen Wolf.
That's fucking right. I was trying to think all goddamn day.
Really?
What was the other movie we did that was 2?
You can remember. You can pull up your drive and say, oh,
no.
Teen Wolf 2.
That's like being forced to Google something and no one's going to tell me
How
what to do.
could you not remember that? Are you committed to this podcast? That's my question after hearing that.
Not as much as I thought I was.
Fuck.
But, I was like, Predator also? No. Alien also? No. So I couldn't think of it for some reason. I was just only thinking of those ones. Just those 2.
Well, I just about sent you an article about 2s. Alsos.
Like the movie being called Also?
Yeah, rather than using the number 2.
And was it because it was lazy writing? Or was it like...
I didn't get through the article, which is why I didn't send it to you.
So the article was lazy writing. Yeah. That's not lazy writing because Amy Hecklering fucking forgot who did it. The woman who did fucking Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High did Look Who's Talking.
Really?
Yeah, Look Who's Talking. And I was reading on the IMDb trivia where she said that she was forced into making Look Who's Talking too. She was like, I thought it ended perfectly. And did you stay for the end credits on Look Who's Talking?
No.
Well, hello, sequel fans. This is Sequilibrium. I'm Mike.
Chad.
And today we're doing Look Who's Talking 2. And Chad just told me that he didn't stay for the end credits of Look Who's Talking. It's like before Marvel movies where it had the surprises at the end of the credits.
Tell me. Maybe I did. Maybe it was underwhelming.
It was during the credits. But basically it was, she gets married to John Travolta and they have another kid. They're in the hospital and the voice of the baby Julie was what was that lady who died? I'm picturing lady who died. Yeah, pick one. She's the one.
Her. Yeah, that's right.
She did all the red carpet bullshit and was always like, "What are you wearing?" Joan Crawford? No, isn't that the wire hanger lady?
Joan Rivers?
Joan Rivers, that's it. Thank you. She did the voice of Julie, which when I saw Look Who's Talking 2, after Look Who's Talking, I was wanting Joan Rivers and not fucking Roseanne Barr.
Is Joan Rivers dead?
Yeah, she died a while ago. Botched plastic surgery.
No shit.
No, just kidding.
Oh.
I mean, you weren't surprised.
No.
So Look Who's Talking. I loved it. I watched it. Last time I watched it was 3 years ago, and I still enjoyed it.
You loved it.
It's fucking awesome, dude.
You loved it.
Fucking awesome.
Stop it.
Peter Segal, or whatever his name is, the fucking Gramps from Goldberg's. Jack.
Oh, you gotta love him. Yeah.
Jack from Just Shoot Me.
I love how he just walks out of the room and leaves the kid behind.
He doesn't give a fuck.
It's one of my favorite parts. But to say you love it,
because the kid's shit was all over his sculpture. He don't give a fuck. Yeah, dude, I loved it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was great. I mean, again, another John Travolta movie. I was exposed to Travolta when I was a kid with Saturday Night Fever. That movie he did with John Lithgow, where John Lithgow was a serial killer. I can't remember what it's called, but he plays a movie editor. It's fucking awesome. It's great. So yeah, I mean, when I see him and Look Who's Talking, I was like, I was all about it. I think he's fun. I think he was funny. He was great.
It was fun.
Kirstie Alley. I mean, even though she once upon a time, a few months ago, was a Trump supporter, now she denounces him. She was great in it. I mean, again, another person I grew up with from Cheers.
Well, exactly. I've always had kind of this grudge with Kirstie Alley because she replaced Diane on Cheers.
So you were more of a Diane.
Well, and I'm not saying I didn't start to like Christie's character.
It took a minute for sure,
but it did take a minute.
Yeah,
and I think I've always had that. Like, come on, bitch,
the animosity.
Show me what you got.
Yeah, you're no Diane. Get out of here.
They used to. Little side note. I'm a huge Conan O'Brien fan too. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you are.
He's probably one of the best late night guys. Or was
sure
next to Letterman and Carson
Um,
daily.
But back in the day when Jay Leno would end his broadcast, he'd be like, "Stay tuned for Conan O'Brien," and then they would play an episode of Cheers, and then they would play Conan.
Oh,
O'Brien.
nice. No, it was our family show. It was one of those shows that we all got together to watch. Talked about when Ghost became popular. I'll never forget seeing that episode with my mom and Rebecca. They were playing that like Righteous Brothers song.
Oh yeah.
Just blips and references that my parents enjoying it made me enjoy it, which is awesome because Cheers is such a fucking great show.
Yeah.
Another Kirstie Alley movie that I like. So I buy her and John Travolta. But there's this movie that she did called Madhouse or something like that. And she was married to John Larroquette, Dan from Night Court. And I just didn't buy their relationship.
Yeah.
And so like when I watch movies and I really enjoy them, it's like I have to be able to buy what you're selling as far as, your relationship. I need to be emotional. Everything I watch, I have to be emotionally invested for some dumb reason.
I had all three of my daughters watch this with me.
I can't wait to hear their thoughts.
This was the first time we've done a movie and all three of them have watched it.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah.
Either it's just me and my oldest or me and my middle. Not too many with my youngest because we haven't done many movies that I felt
more appropriate.
Other than fucking, what was it that I did let her watch?
No, not Child's Play. Oh God, what was it?
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, yes.
Out of all the movies, I'm like, no, wait till she goes to bed. Wait till she's.
You can't watch Aliens. Let's watch Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
That's awesome.
The one.
That's great.
Anyway, yeah, it was funny. Like the first 5 minutes of that movie, I could just feel
the questions.
All of them thinking, "What the fuck are you having us watch, Dad?"
I thought you were going to say questions because that was mine when I was a kid. What's that? What's that tadpole thing?
Well, one of them's 16, one of them's 18.
Yeah, that's true.
My 9-year-old maybe, but even then, I feel like the world we live in, she probably was even aware of what was happening. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, even me, I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should have screened this first.
You thought it was a little racy?
Well, I mean, and then all of a sudden it cuts to that married man who's like, come here.
Oh, in the dressing room, or whatever, when he's cheating on his mistress with the mistress.
I think it just. It almost crossed the line of not necessarily the content being too racy, but
the amount of questions it might.
No. How the raciness combined with the stupidity.
You just wanted to shield them from how stupid this movie is. This baby who's fucking just talking to himself.
But the things that hold up. Like the moments I laughed out loud are the moments that the girls were laughing out loud too. And I remember those being the moments when I was a kid that I would laugh about this film. But I do remember liking it way more when I was 8-9 years old than I do now.
Because now you can find the stupidity. Now you know how fucking stupid it is.
I knew how stupid it was.
But there's so many funny fucking moments.
There are.
So
are there
many.
Enough, though, to call it good? Are there enough funny moments?
Yeah, but everything in between, though, is still really great.
It was all right. I do like the
for what it is. I need to reiterate that it's great for what it is.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's not fucking. We were just talking about The Master and how much I fucking love that movie and how great it is, and then here I am talking about Look Who's Talking.
Yeah,
saying it's the same thing. Like it's not in the same great category. It's just great.
I get
for
what you
it
mean.
is.
Okay, I had fun with it.
Exactly.
Right?
Do you have fun with it?
But one of the best moments of the inner dialogue with the kids is when they pull up in the stroller.
That's a dude. Oh, I got my hair cut. I don't really like it. Everyone says I'm a boy. Do you remember how I used to look?
Imagine how much I can't. I would love to see the behind the scenes,
like how many times it took for those kids to interact.
And it's not even like they had to get it. The only way I could have seen them making this film is if they just filmed these kids, and then based off whatever they did,
they wrote the
dialogue around that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I love James being the babysitter. John Travolta's character. I think he's like the coolest babysitter ever.
I like when she's envisioning what her future might be like with him and smoking.
You just take that first layer off and it's good.
See, even those are the little scenes that we're never going to get in movies again. Just that funny, like them smoking around the kids. You know what I mean?
Well, even when you think about that, they're portraying like, I would say 1950s down and out people digging out a trash can. What are they going to portray as far as like a 30-year time gap? So like if they were to film that, it'd be like 1985 and they'd be like fucking doing coke in front of their kids.
Yeah.
Well, it's still smoking cigarettes too. But yeah,
Bruce
that's
Willis. True. Bruce Willis is the voice. Got to go into that. It's just such funny. I mean,
coming from Bruce Willis, totally.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did other comedies like Hudson Hawk, which is a terrible movie.
Got another arm growing down there.
I know. How the hell am I going to get that thing in my mouth? I mean, that's so fucking funny. So funny. I was reading also that Chevy Chase was up for the role, but he was doing Christmas Vacation. John Candy was up for the role. He was doing Uncle Buck. Steve Martin was up for it, but he was doing something else. There was one other comedic actor I can't remember.
For the voice?
For the voice, yeah. But the fact that they got fucking John McClane after all of these hilarious fucking guys who could have probably picture Chevy Chase saying, "How am I going to get that thing in my mouth?" It would be so much funnier. But then you add fucking Bruce Willis doing it, and it's like, this is yippee-ki-yay motherfucker time saying this fucking funny shit. You know how when he I know what you're thinking the same thing I am. Yeah, lunch. Like, come on, it's fucking great.
But it is also weird to hear him say things like, "I want you as my dad."
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. I want James to be the daddy. Okay, Bruce. If you want. That's kind of weird, but okay. Yeah, totally. I mean, that would be delivered better from a comedic person.
Hey,
probably.
And to think,
maybe even John Candy.
Bruce Willis killed John Travolta later on in their film career.
In what?
The same thing you forgot about the last time.
I don't remember.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh my! He killed him in Pulp. That's right. When he came out of the bathroom. Yeah. Oh, now it's coming back to me. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, that's such a bummer. That So apparently, also to get a little bit more in depth in the history of Look Who's Talking, because I apparently put more work into Look Who's Talking than I've done any movie that we've watched.
I'm not surprised with your enthusiasm right now.
John Travolta apparently was like a has-been, according to Hollywood. Like every movie he had done after Staying Alive, which is 83, flopped. And so nobody he was just like, this was it for me. But Look Who's Talking fucking brought him right back up. A few years later, fucking Pulp Fiction. And then he did those stinkers in between, Broken Arrow, Face Off, Battlefield Earth.
I feel like you're trying to tell the audience right now that
I love John Travolta.
That John Travolta, in everyone else's mind, his career catapulted once more
after
the
moment
Fiction. Pulp Fiction came out. But what you're saying, Mike,
is that
when Look Who's Talking came out, that's really when we saw him come back to life.
Not going to take the time to look it up on the IMDb. I'm giving the sequel fans the homework assignment is to find it and rub it in fucking Chad's face.
There is something I do want you to look up though, because I found this to be crazy.
What's that?
Look up
John Travolta.
The box office results of all three. Because if I remember correctly, the first one pulled in a whopping like 180 million US. And the other one pulled in like 5 million, which is
Look Who's Talking 2 brought in $447.8 million.
47.8 million, not 447.
No, I was fucking dumb and said it wrong. 400. I said it again. $47.8 million. That's how much Look Who's Talking 2 brought in. Look Who's Talking brought in $297 million.
Shit.
Dollars.
That's a chunk of change.
Box office. Fuck.
Budget.
That's amazing.
Budget couldn't have been. What was the budget on it?
$7.5 million.
God.
What a
box. There's a
That's
second
why
one.
they wanted to make a second
yeah.
one. Even though it only fucking brings in $50 million.
Teen Wolf 2 in it, motherfucker. Here you go.
Let's see what Look Who's Talking Now is. Do you remember who did the voices of Look Who's Talking Now?
So keep that in mind. $297 million, right? In the box office.
Uh-huh.
Versus?
Look Who's Talking Now?
Yeah.
Look Who's Talking Now. Their budget was $22 million. And they brought in a whopping $10.3 million.
Fucking crazy.
So we could have had a Look Who's Talking after.
Does that blow your mind like it did mine when I just briefly went over
I had no idea the first Look Who's Talking made $297 million.
Crazy.
That's $297 million. What the fuck? That's a $85 million profit.
Yeah. I want to know everything about that release now. What were the movies that came out at the same time?
I mean,
what was it competing against? Because $297 million even today.
Yeah, dude, that's
for
fucking
any
crazy.
Movie
that's
is
nuts. I bet you John Travolta only got paid $150,000 or something. You know,
there are Marvel movies right now that come out to that opening weekend, but we're talking Marvel movies. This was a movie about
a baby's inner dialogue.
A baby's inner dialogue.
Yeah, and what he thinks of the world around him.
Done in a very mediocre way, but the charming thing about it was the first time we ever heard a baby's inner dialogue in a movie.
What do you think sold people? You think it was John Travolta going, you don't go through that purse much, do you? No, why do you say that? Because you still got your diaphragm.
Right.
You know, like, Jesus Christ, who the fuck let this guy in? And this movie brings in $297 million. I'm stoked. I can't wait to hear
Me too. I almost forgot we were even watching the second one.
I know, we were just so into the first one and how fucking awesome it is. I think I have you convinced.
I mean, it was fun. That's all I can say about it.
It was fun. I hope
if I'm
continue to have fun.
If I'm going to have to give the first one a rating, I'm going with a 5.
I'd give it a 6 or a 7.
Damn.
Because like I said, I watched it a few years ago. It's not that I had no reason to watch it other than I wanted to watch Look Who's Talking.
How much nostalgia do you think?
A ton. My sister got it for Christmas or whatever gift.
Has to do with your rating.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
for sure.
I mean, I watched it not just once as a kid and then yesterday for the podcast. I've watched it several times throughout my lifetime.
It'd be like if we watched My Pet Monster.
Oh, yeah, totally. I watched it.
This is a fucking 9.5.
Oh, it's so fucking great. You love it. It's about a monster who breaks his chains and then comes to life.
But yeah, that's just the thing. When we talk about ratings, it's weird because, you think about a movie like Drop Dead Fred. I fucking love Drop Dead Fred. I've watched it so many fucking times.
But it's not a cinematic masterpiece.
Could I give it anything more than a 5?
No. I mean,
without feeling good about that?
If I'm going to give The Master a 9, which I would, I'm not going to give fucking Drop Dead Fred because I love Drop Dead Fred a fucking higher than a 6. You know what I mean? Because it's stupid. The kid who plays the guy who loves Phoebe Cates, the nerdy kid, like the only reason that movie's funny is because of Fred. I forgot the actor's name who died a few years ago. But yeah, exactly. Look Who's Talking is a 6. Look Who's Talking 2 is an 8.
You think Look Who's Talking 2 is an 8?
No, I'm just fucking with you. All right, we'll be back with Look Who's Talking 2 also.
Yeah, see you soon.
Look Who's Talking 2. I'll tell you who was talking a lot in that fucking movie was John Travolta being an asshole the entire fucking time.
He was. It was sadly one of the best parts of the movie, though.
How mean he was to Molly? He was so fucking mean.
I mean, those were the moments that popped us. We're like, I
mean, look at this guy.
Look at that fucker.
This movie, the Look Who's Talking series is focused on the children, but yet it's the adults who are acting like children.
It's fine, Molly. We have instruments that tell me where to go. Just get out of my goddamn plane, you stupid bitch.
I don't care about your gut feeling. These are professional instruments designed by engineers and scientists. Not intuition, Molly.
What are you doing to me, Mike?
I'm making you watch shitty movies.
What are we doing?
I'm making you spend hard-earned money on watching shitty movies.
Eventually, you and I are going to hesitate to get together because all we're going to relate it to is movies like Look Who's Talking 2. Teen Wolf 2.
Clearly there's like a threshold, and it's the movies that are also and not direct number twos. So I think from now on we just avoid those title puns and just move on from them altogether. We just ignore them.
Are there any others? I can't think of
If I couldn't remember which one we did, then I doubt I know if there's another one. But this is not as good as I once remembered.
No,
it's not.
Not at all.
And I feel like this show has become again where I romanticized the movie and how great it was because I watched it when I was so young and so excited about everything. And then we watch them later, and it's like, this isn't that good at all. I think the only thing I really piqued my interest was the Wrestling Buddies commercial.
Same here.
And the G.I. Joe Cobra Hammerhead commercial.
Yeah, that might be the only reason it gets a 3. I think before I said I'd give the first a 5. This gets a 3.
Oh, the first for me is still in the 7 range, but this is down to a 3 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there were moments. There were funny moments. I mean, Damon Wayans was probably my favorite moment. When Damon, I remember Damon Wayans doing the voice of Eddie. In the trailer, it was Richard Pryor did the voice.
Oh, wow.
And I do remember, the difference. Like, this doesn't sound like the same guy. I didn't know it was Richard Pryor when I was younger. But you know how, like, there's a lot of those movies like Can't Buy Me Love. And then it gets remade to Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cave or whatever. Not Nick Cave. That's Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Yeah, no. Nick Cannon or whatever. And then they did, there was 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and then they redid it again, but with like a black family. Martin Lawrence, Tracy Morgan. So I would love a Look Who's Talking 2 with Damon Wayans doing the voice of a kid. I think he was funnier in his little moments, talking about what to do with your pee. You just tell your fucking pee to stay inside you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we play doctor over there.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. They just explained to Mikey the difference between boys and girls, and then he's getting excited about dude playing doctor when he just found out about girls. Like, he's all into it. Like, this guy gets girls because he pees in the toilet?
I'm going to have to look into this.
Yeah, that might be an interesting take to this life thing.
I'm not going to lie. When I went to the bathroom after the movie was over, I did think about the potty monster.
You thought Mel Brooks was going to eat your pee-pee and your doo-doo? Yeah, man, this movie is so stupid.
Sucks.
So stupid.
It sucks so bad. And I told you right before we watched it that I had a gut feeling.
Oh, Molly, with her gut feeling.
That I was going to like this one more than the original.
Well,
and I couldn't have been more wrong.
Now we proved that you listen to the instruments and all the other technology things that's saying this movie's bad. Like, if you had the idea, like, Chad, let's watch Look Who's Talking 2. Your first thought should be, well, let me see what Flickster has to say. Let me see what Rotten Tomato has to say. Because you can rely on technology. Don't rely on your gut.
Yeah, but like we said, they were off about Weekend at Bernie's too.
I mean,
although we haven't rewatched
rewatched it, and at this point, maybe we should have a Weekend at Bernie's 2 meter where we judge every movie based on how much we liked, seeing as how we haven't seen it.
Right.
Weekend at Bernie's 2. Yeah. Would you say you liked Weekend at Bernie's 2 more than you like Luke Who's Talking To?
Yeah, you out of your fucking mind, of course.
More enjoyable.
Of course.
But again, that's the funny, the nostalgia feel that we have of it. The two dudes, doing the ceremony in the bathroom.
Well, when we
not in Luke Who's Talking To.
When we finally get around to watching it, though,
I can't wait till that day comes.
There's no way, right? There's no way in hell that either one of us is going to think that Look Who's Talking To is as good or better than Weekend at Bernie's.
Well, it's like what we were saying earlier about Drop Dead Fred, and I don't know why. I don't know why I used that as an example because I don't like Look Who's Talking To.
You just wanted to talk about.
I just wanted to say Drop Dead Fred again.
Yeah,
I don't like Look Who's Talking To. I love Look Who's Talking, the first one, because Look Who's Talking. It's this cute little boy. Right. Look Who's Talking To. No, it sucked. I don't care who's talking. If someone said, "Hey, look who's talking," I'll be like, "I don't care."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it wasn't good.
I mean, did you have any feeling about it, like where you're like memorable moment? I like that moment, even as bad as it was. Was there something in Look Who's Talking To that made you?
Sure, there were.
That you liked.
There were a couple moments. Oh, I don't know. As good as Roseanne Barr might have been doing the voice of that, she really only had a couple lines in there that made me pop or laugh a little bit.
She was a lot cuter than I remembered, like doing the voice. I don't think she necessarily needed to do the whining part. Mm-hmm. Like cut the audio. Someone turn off Roseanne's mic when she started.
Let the kid take over.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't need to hear the inner... Exactly. We don't need to hear the inner dialogue of that. We just need to hear, because we can't hear what they're saying because they're not saying anything. So we don't need to hear that. I don't even think Mikey didn't get his vaccination in the first movie. So maybe he's not vaccinated. We didn't see. There's no evidence.
Oh.
Again, that being, if that was in the movie, is that necessary? But this movie, Look Who's Talking To, had numerous unnecessary scenes. The lady up top in the apartment throwing the keys down to the other lady on the bottom, and then she's muttered something. I don't know. You don't put the subtitles on, you weirdo. And
I didn't even think about it, Mike. Had you said something, I would have put the subtitles on. I promise.
But why was that even in there? We don't care. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to do with this child and him growing up.
Back up a moment.
Yeah.
Surely you wouldn't watch Look Who's Talking To with the subtitles.
I watch everything with subtitles.
But Look Who's Talking To?
Yeah, I need
What are you thinking? Because you explained your reasoning to me before, and I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. But when it comes to a movie like Look Who's Talking To, what do you feel you're missing that the director just couldn't point out in any of these shitty scenes?
I needed to see who was talking. If they put cartoon bubbles up over everybody, that'd be ideal for this movie. No, I don't know. I just like to read ahead.
Yeah.
Kind of. I like to, the person who's writing out the subtitles, I want to know what they think the rain sounds like when it hits the roof of a car.
Okay.
I don't know why.
All right.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny that they even think that a deaf person knows what the rain sounds like hitting on a car. Like, if you're a deaf person and you're watching a movie and you read, rain sounds like ice being thrown against the wall or something, you're like, I don't know what the fuck that sounds like.
But at what point did you become deaf in your life, though? You gotta take that into consideration.
That's true. Maybe you do know what it sounds like, and maybe you need the description. When I was watching Evil Dead,
maybe you're judging them based on how they're describing it, even though you can't hear it.
Oh, that's true. But I feel like some of the descriptors just don't describe that sound well enough to me. And I think it's so funny that they add that shit in there. It's like, don't add it at all. Like, what are you trying to go for a promotion? Like, look, I put in the extra work. I described the sound of that leaf cracking. That's why I like subtitles.
Okay.
But yeah, unnecessary scene. Wasn't there like another one? So, her mentioning that she's a vegetarian.
Oh, right.
Like,
right.
who cares? The movie's 10 minutes away from being over, and now you drop that Molly's a vegetarian.
Sorry, I don't eat meat.
Like,
or whatever she said.
I know that she's earth conscious because there's fucking propaganda posters all over the wall. Not propaganda, I was just joking. Because, love the planet, of course. But she also has a neon sign that says love bras. Why?
Yeah, the whole President Bush drop.
Oh, that part was funny.
Newspaper.
Yeah, that part was funny. They went a little extra political.
Yeah.
They're going over, is this a boy or a girl? And then they get to George Bush and he has to scratch his head and think about it.
That's where I thought you were heading with, well, the boy was, I don't know if the boy was vaccinated in the first one. Girl's vaccinated.
They showed it in this one.
I thought we were going to get political there for a second.
Well, I thought they were going to go, the boys have a penis, girls have a vagina, like in Kindergarten Cop. Like, was that trademarked in that movie? And you can't teach your children that.
Oh, yeah. They had to destroy the line from the first one where he said, is that an arm growing down there? By her saying, two legs, 2 arms, and 2 mouths.
Yeah, they reused so much shit. They even reused scenes from the birth canal.
Yeah,
from the first one.
Yeah.
I mean,
it looked exactly the same.
This movie should have had such a tiny ass budget because they just reused so much bullshit.
Reused the TriStar theme.
Oh yeah, they reused when she was walking across the hall. And speaking of the TriStar scene, they just went the extra mile and gave him Mr. Ed dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh gee Wilbur, I'm getting wings now.
Yeah.
Oh,
which unfortunately the movie sucked, but that being the start of it, I could go with that. I'm like, okay, this is super fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
But if this leads into a decent story, then so be it. I'll take this cheese at the very beginning.
I loved Casey Jones being in this movie.
Yeah.
I first episode I talked about how much I love that guy. I don't even know what his name is, but the movies that he's in, I think he's awesome. I think he's perfect for every role he's fit in.
It's not loaded.
Yeah. It's a 9mm. It looks like a fucking 22 my mom kept in her purse when she went fishing. And there was no indication that this guy felt like he needed to be a cop other than when he first showed up in the house wearing the city of New York police hat. Like, what are you, former accountant now joining the police academy?
Yeah, it's just all these bits of story that don't form a story.
I mean, it's an hour and 20-minute long movie. They could have added more to it. We could have got a little bit more depth. I'm not saying they could have gotten a little bit more artsy, but there could have been more. Yeah. There could have been more reason why fucking James and Molly are at each other's throats all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that he's an uptight dick.
Yeah.
One, did she ever really bring up money? She gladly moved in this taxi driver into her apartment, essentially raising 3 children. And I'm sure his argument is what? I stay home with the kid. You don't have to pay daycare. It saves you money, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the type of shithead he is.
Yeah, he was a dick the entire time and he wasn't apologetic at any point in the movie. Not even in the end when he gets her back.
Yeah, no, he was only sorry when he wanted to get some.
Yeah.
The whole Elvis and Priscilla
thing. He wasn't even sorry then, really.
Oh, my God.
She's sleeping. He's baby. Baby, come on. Get up. Get up.
Yeah. Get up. He might as well just started jumping on the bed. Yeah. Oh, come on, Molly. You know you're getting out of the mood. Yeah. You know what? Let her live her life, dude. Yeah. Why the fuck?
I'm sleeping. It hasn't stopped us before.
Well, and then they just laugh at the rape joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
What are we watching next week?
Christmas season's coming around, so I was thinking we could just strictly stick to Christmas sequels.
Remember, we haven't decided it might be a Sunday morning and not a Saturday evening.
Mm-hmm.
So we might want to take that into consideration.
I was going to suggest Santa Claus 2.
Okay.
I really like that one. There's Christmas Vacation 2 that I've never seen. It's with Cousin Eddie. Obviously, because why the fuck would Chevy Chase sign on to do a shitty sequel?
I'm going to give it immediate no.
Oh, really? Okay.
Simply based on the fact that we did Look Who's Talking To this evening.
There is Christmas Story 2 with Daniel Stern playing the dad, and it's like, you know, in the 60s and not in the 50s or whatever.
I'm leaning towards Santa Claus 2.
Well, you should lean towards that one because that movie, that's my favorite one out of the Santa Claus trilogy.
It might be mine too.
It's really great. Charlie's a little older and ends up on the naughty list, and Tim Allen is still, I mean, even though he's like a Republican,
yeah,
he's still awesome.
I think we need an enjoyable one.
Santa Claus 2 it is,
you
to
know?
make up for this.
Let's do it. We'll get some of those delicious breakfast burritos.
Oh my God,
we got last week.
Only one this time. Oh my gosh.
And you wanted 3.
I know. What the fuck was I thinking? Well, I guess we'll just jump into some IMDb.
Do it. So what do you give it? Let's agree. I give it a 3.
I was going to say, I give it a 3 too.
Okay.
But there is a one that I wanted to read to you that I you know, like I said, I looked up a little bit more. This one's called Look Who's Boring. I like that. It's pretty good.
Cute.
From 2003. This movie did have a chance if it didn't bring Molly's brother, who needs to be sent back with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and her annoying friend, whatever her name is. Do you remember what her name was?
No.
Rona.
But
also the really bad and lame points to this movie were the couple fighting, them singing about Mikey going to the bathroom, and using Roseanne as his sister. That's when I really thought this movie is really bad. If I wanted to hear that, I'd watch Barney or Sesame Street. Avoid. This person didn't like this movie for the potty training. I came here for some serious baby talk. None of this singing about potty breaks.
And that was the only part of the movie that made any sense, was the potty training. They had a beginning. They had a middle, and they had an end when he used the potty.
This is a new one from 2021.
Oh, wow.
November 12th, just a few weeks ago.
Whoa.
This movie is transphobic.
They give it a what?
A 1 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
There is a part in the movie when the parents are explaining to one of the children the differences between boys and girls. It's very transphobic since there isn't a difference.
This is a very 2021 review.
I know, right? Like, let's talk about the time when the first movie, when Mikey said the outfit makes him look like a retard. What do you expect? 1990.
That did get me in the first one, though. I made mention of that or did I? Maybe I wanted to and decided not to make mention of the fact that they said retard in the first one because my girls watched it with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nowadays, if you hear that, you definitely cringe, even though it's something that used to be in your vocabulary all the time. Like, you didn't think it was harmful.
When you were 8, 9 years old?
Yeah, "Ooh, it makes me look like a retard." And it's funny. Yeah. But nowadays, no, it doesn't fly. Would it make me hate Luke Who's Talking? No.
Right.
No, because guess what?
Because of the time it came
1988. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
they tried to pull that shit in a family film today, you'd be like, hey.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. And so this person, yes, I mean, now we have a better understanding of it, So give the movie a break. Like, don't give it 1 because you didn't like that. Give it a 1 because it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Give it a 1 because of James' abuse. Give it a 1.
There's no gender equality in this movie.
Give it a 1 because Gilbert Godfrey should not be looking after children.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from? All right, here's a 3. And it's another new one. It's from January 1st. So someone rung out the new year this year with writing a review of Luke Who's Talking To.
And they gave it a what?
They gave it a 3.
Oh, okay. Great.
Sequel to the 1989 film, and it was Look Who's Talking To. Look Who's Talking To. They put it in brackets so we know the difference between the number 2 and the fact that this was just going for some stupid fucking shtick. Is a 1990 comedy sequel starring John Travolta, Kirstie Alley, and the voice of Bruce Willis as Mikey. It's the opening credits here.
Yeah.
This time, Alley is pregnant again with a baby girl, and at first, Mikey gets jealous of his new sister, but will they sort out their differences? Not a question, but it sounded like one.
By the way, stop there. They completely brushed over the fact that she was pregnant.
100%. They had sex. The next scene is
like
her coming
belly.
in with a baby bump. Yeah. And then potty for Mikey. There's no again, hour and 20-minute long. Where's the 9-month montage of her being pregnant?
Which could have been funny. They replaced all that could have been funny about being pregnant and having a child already with just bullshit scattered throughout.
Maybe they it's like the people bitching about, we know how Spider-Man became Spider-Man. Stop making Spider-Man movies. We know how babies are made. We don't need to see how her vomiting up over the toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, still, it would have been funny.
Yeah.
Mikey coming to take care of her.
Sure.
Would have been sweet. They just fucking glossed over. You could tell Amy Heckerling was like, I don't want to do this movie.
Mikey bringing her a pint of ice cream while she's just fucking chilling on the couch.
Crying at a airport commercial like in the first one because she had postpartum after Mikey was born. So many fun things they could have redone again that would have worked so much better with this movie, but they didn't.
No.
If you like the first, you might like it. For me, it was utterly stupid. Essentially, that was the review. Everything else before that I said was them describing what the movie was. Here's my review. This is who was in the movie. This is the plot of the movie.
Okay, so if his closing statement was, if you like the first one, you might like this, and I think that's very deceiving.
Very deceiving because I love the first one. I do not care for this one. Like you were saying, what do we care about James leaving? Who gives a shit?
You don't. Yeah.
At all.
Because they didn't have anything prior to that.
No. Other than them just fighting and you realizing, Molly, you're better off without him. Right. Like, why are you fighting to get him back? Don't you know? Like, look how he snubs you. And you're going to try to win him back?
She gets all dolled up. He walks into the room with what?
Yeah, what? You see my sunglasses? He's picking shit up and throwing it around? Yeah. I'm tired of squinting all the time, Molly. God, quit being such a fucking nagging bitch. Oh, so you brought the big guns out, fucking staring at her titties. Here's the last one. There was only 2 3 out of 10 reviews. Okay. Gimmick worn out and movie not fun. This person, their name is Snoopy Style, and they wrote this on 4/20/2015. Okay. So they went to the weed store, got some weeds, and the weed man, the bud tender's like, oh, you got any big plans for today? Nah, I'm just going to smoke a bowl and watch Look Who's Talking To. Can't wait to see how that works out.
Who just puts this on willy-nilly, unless they're doing a podcast about movie sequels?
I'll tell you what, the fact that this is a 6-year-old review, I am stoked to be reading it. They put this shit on here for entertainment purposes, clearly. And otherwise, nobody would have read this.
Let's hear it.
Molly, Kirstie Alley, and James, John Travolta, are together and they have a new baby, Julie, Roseanne Barr, to add to Mikey, Bruce Willis, with his friend Eddie, Damon Wayans. Oh. No, it didn't have that part. Oh. Mikey can start saying a few words. Yeah, popcorn and screaming and penis. All you need. James is struggling to get into flying. Molly's crass brother, Stuart, Elias Cotes, I don't know his name, moves in. It may be mean, but Mikey isn't quite as cute this time around. I don't think anyone's feelings are hurt. He's getting a little too old to not talk. Also, the utter real part is a bit more off putting this time around. The premise isn't quite so funny the second time. The gimmick feels worn out. Ali and Travolta aren't as much fun. Their fights are more serious and not any fun. Just so you guys know, your fighting is not fun at all. Fighting is not fun at all. I think toilet training is funny for the parents, but not necessarily for everybody else. Any joy is drained out from this movie. God, imagine getting fucking baked out of your mind watching this movie and being like, well, I'm fine now. And it was only an hour and 20 minutes long, so your high would not have gone away.
I feel like I probably wouldn't like that guy, but I agree with him 80% of what he said. So
I mean, definitely, there's an agreement there. Molly's brother, too. Like, why the fuck is she in love with this guy? James has legitimate reasons why they should kick fucking Stewart out. He's a waif, even though he's an old man. He's a fucking danger to the children when he's fucking leaves the oven mitt on the stove and starts a fire in the fucking apartment just so he could go play cop.
Yeah, it would have been different if it wasn't his fault that the fire started. You know, it should have been laid out differently because you don't feel like, oh, hey, he fucking...
I mean, is Molly the kind of person to put too many plugs in a socket?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It had to be Stewart. It had to be fucking Stewart to start that fire. Or just have him go play cop and the kids roam the streets of New York and now you have a Home Alone situation and you have to go find them.
Yeah.
Or better yet, the streets of British Columbia since they went a cheaper route in filming.
So were there any 8s?
You want to
I want an 8 because, again, look who talking to. Anyone that's giving it a 10 is just...
There's a really long one that could be interesting, but I'm going to read a really short one for an 8.
An 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's just simply called Look Who's Talking To. It's the movie that you watched.
Good.
Look Who's Talking To is a wonderful movie. Yes, it is sappy at times, but come on. Romantic comedies not only include comedy, but hello, also romance. I didn't feel any romance in that movie.
No.
At all.
At
Like,
all.
what part? The part where James is like the only time he's showing Molly any compassion is when he wants to bang her?
Yeah. Christy Alley poured her heart out to John Travolta. She ran in the rain to a plane, getting ready to depart, and all he had to do was say, "I love you too," and then
I'll see you when I get home.
Kiss.
No, he had to fucking call her stupid and all this other fucking shit. This wasn't a romantic comedy. Maybe my perspective differs from the preceding review because I am a woman and am not just looking for comedy from these movies. The romance is definitely my favorite part. I was born in 1988 and grew up watching this movie. My friends and I all loved it. It's unique and it shows us more of the James-Molly relationship. Look Who's Talking Now, the third installment, might be stretching it, but the first 2 movies are classics. I definitely would recommend buying or renting them together.
Okay,
Not at all.
This is an example of a person who isn't able to separate the nostalgia that comes with the film they're talking about.
Oh, yeah, totally.
From how good it actually is.
I liked James and Molly in the first one. So in the second one, I did like that they're married, you know, and you do get more of them in the relationship aspect versus like babysitter and client.
But not in a way you'd want.
No, it was fucking, I mean, if you're going to put them ahead of the kids, which is what they fucking did, have more of a story for them, more of growth, you know. She said they were only been together for like a year and a half. So like, did they get married super fucking quickly and then have Molly or Julie? I mean, I don't know because the movie didn't fucking tell us. And I do have those kinds of questions. Not how is Ash going to get bullets and gas in medieval times, but how the fuck did Molly and James like get to where they are?
Well, maybe, Mike, we don't know the answers to these questions because you and I have not completed the trilogy. And is it our fucking obligation as podcasters
to watch Look
so?
Who's Talking Now?
Yes.
Have you ever seen it?
I don't think I have.
The last time I watched it, I was probably like 15, and it was on like Cinemax or something. You know, I definitely have seen it a few times, and I am typing out "look also" in IMDb to look for "Look Who's Talking Now." No, I don't think it's great at all. I don't think it would be good at all.
My question is, do we hold that responsibility to the listener to complete this?
Yeah, I would
trilogy?
I'd like to watch it again. I mean, you have Diane Keaton and Danny DeVito as the voice of the dogs. Because the kids are adults, not adults. Kids are older and they're talking. They're at talking ages.
See, now that's weird to me. Is it weird to you that after Look Who's Talking 2, Danny DeVito would sign on to do the voice
of the dog?
Of the dog.
I mean, again, you can tell when these actors do movies for like a car payment.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not going to be that much work. You know, it's only going to be, voice acting. And Danny DeVito, that's probably going to be the best part of the movie.
And it's just the dogs at this point, right, that have the inner dialogue?
Yeah. The kids are older now, so they can speak for themselves.
Gotcha.
When they want some water, they want some water.
I'm ready.
How do the kids communicate with each other? Is it like cats where they just speak telepathically to each other? Do the kids have whiskers so they can I don't know. I don't know. I never understood that as a kid. I do like their mouths moving in this movie. Sometimes it plays with the dialogue, the inner dialogue. Sometimes it works. Other times it's just kind of like adorable, like you're watching an ancient kung fu movie.
Right.
An ancient, like those were, But yeah. Fuck this movie, man.
Fuck this movie.
Fuck Look Who's Talking 2.
I just had a fun idea.
What's that?
When we get to, let's say, podcast number 30, let's rank every movie we've done up to this point.
Okay. We'll do like an awards show.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And I don't know why I thought of it.
Yeah.
Maybe because Look Who's Talking 2 would be towards the fucking bottom of the list, next to Grease 2.
Oh, my God.
And Teen Wolf 2.
Okay, Grease 2 or Look Who's Talking 2?
Oh, man, you had to go there, but fuck.
I'm just thinking about how long that fucking movie was.
That's tough. That really is a tough decision.
I like Grease 2 more than I like Look Who's Talking 2.
Coming right out and saying it, huh?
Yeah.
I guess, you gave Grease 2 a 1, and you just gave Look Who's Talking 2 a 3.
What
are we doing here?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
I don't even know what I'm thinking right now.
And I argued with you. I think I gave it a 2.
Yeah. You gave it a little bit more than I did.
I gave it a 2, and you're like, you're fucking ridiculous. And now you're telling me Look Who's Talking 2 is a 3, but you like Grease 2 more.
That's how
you're just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm just pulling you in. God, that's honestly, that is really tough.
I probably like them exactly the same. I think that's why it's so hard for me to choose, because I dislike them just as much.
Michelle Pfeiffer or Kirstie Alley?
Well,
even in
how those bad roles or just overall?
Yeah. Molly or whatever her name was.
Probably whatever her name was.
Yeah. She's a little bit cooler.
Once again, if I had to choose between Kirstie Alley and Michelle Pfeiffer, I'm going Michelle Pfeiffer all day long.
All the way.
Batman Returns.
Oh my God.
Be one of the next few we do. Because,
well, it is a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas.
I like it.
And I wouldn't be against watching 89 again.
I say that a lot. Can we get a T-shirt that just says, I like it?
I like it. We could.
I'm liking it, maybe.
We could with a bubble over your head so people know who's talking.
Yeah. I like it. I say that a lot.
All right, well, we'll come back with a surprise because we're going to decide off air.
To do it.
All right.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. I'm sorry.
Goodbye. Don't watch Look Who's Talking To.
Don't.
Sequilibrium, sequilibrium. Two guys sound like they're sucking helium. Sequilibrium, sequilibrium. Sitting on their freaking bums.
Why don't you try it again and we'll see if it works. Try it again.
Got pizza coming, baby.
No.
No?
It doesn't land. Okay, all right, we'll try again. But when the pizza guy comes, or person or gal or whatever, and you open the door, you grab it from him, but you say, thanks, baby.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah, you say it just like that.
And see the reaction on their face.
Uh-huh. I don't know.
Can I agree to this only if it's a female behind that
No,
door?
no. No. It has to be anybody. Thanks, baby. You could say it fast to where it sounds like, where they walk away and they go like this.
Huh?
Did he just call me baby?
Right. Yeah.
No, why would he? Why would he? That's just weird. And then they just keep walking.
You like that coffee, baby?
Thank you, baby. It's not that good.
No, it's not.
No, it's like you go tell Bonnie to stop buying shit.
I know. Well, you know what? I bought it ground this time. Normally I ground my own beans.
Well, I buy ground too, and it doesn't taste this bad. So a buddy of mine posted a picture of, or a video of his cat scratching next to his coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, when cats do that, it's because they don't like the smell of something and they're trying to bury it like they're shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, so you're trying to say my coffee smells like shit? And I was like, if Bonnie's the one buying it, if Bonnie's buying it.
What are we doing today?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just dropped a few fucking Pulp Fiction quotes, just one over again, and you didn't catch up on it. Well,
I'm sorry.
That was a little upsetting.
Sometimes I do feel like you want me to be like, Pulp Fiction, 1994, directed by Quentin Tarantino, yes?
Yeah, so I don't have to.
Let me just let you do all of it.
Yeah, why not?
Put forth all the effort.
So
you fucking cinematic encyclopedia.
That's so true. Human IMDb.
And the type that gets upset because you don't have that same knowledge.
Okay, so who's in Pulp Fiction? We got Bruce Willis. We got Christopher Walken, John Travolta,
Tim Roth,
Samuel L. Jackson, Ving Rhames, Uma Thurman,
Quentin Tarantino.
So what sequel could we do that involves one of those people?
The fuck are you talking about, man?
To find the sequel that we're going to do today.
Oh.
I just listed a whole fuck ton of actors and actresses
Really?
from Pulp Fiction.
Is that what we're going to do?
That's how we're going to pick it.
That's how we're going to do it.
That's how we're going to pick it.
Just because we spoke of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Was this...
Yeah.
Did
Planned?
you have this planned?
Not at all. I swear to God. And it worked out great. It worked out great. So one of those that has a sequel, we'll do it.
The Boy Scout 2.
The Boy Scout
Boy Scout Part 2.
What the fuck is that? It sounds like a straight to VHS horror movie you find next to Sleepaway Camp.
I'm sorry, The Last Boy Scout Part 2.
They never did a sequel. They never did a sequel, unfortunately. That movie has one of my favorite lines in it.
Which is?
So at the end of the movie, Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans are walking down to the beach or wherever. I think it's the beach. And he's teaching Damon Wayans how to be a tough guy, how to be cool. And he's like, and you guys got to come up with lines. So like if you're going to hit a guy who's holding a surfboard before you hit him, you say, "Surf's up, pal," and then you hit him. And I mean that's a verbatim. I'm butchering the scene.
Yeah.
But the gist is he's teaching him one-liners, and it's fucking awesome.
Huh.
And Lagwagon references it in one of their songs. Kill Whitney Dead samples it. It's just an all-around great movie. Not great, just fun. good. Anyways, it's not a fucking sequel. Pick another one. And don't go for obvious either.
Snakes on a Plane Part 2.
If only it happened again, but it didn't, unfortunately.
Do you have some in your mind already?
From Dusk Till Dawn Part 2. Quentin Tarantino's not in that, but he is in the first one, and I can close my eyes and tell you that movie scene for scene.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling that one today. Anyway,
it's pretty good. It's got the Liquid Terminator in it. I can't remember his name.
What did we do last week?
We did X last week. Yeah,
maybe that's kind of why I'm feeling a comedy.
Okay, you're feeling a comedy. Out of all those people I listed, can you find a comedy
sequel? There's got to be.
There's got to be.
There's got to be.
John Travolta, go. Not that sound. Or that in my ear.
I don't know. Do you have one, motherfucker?
John Travolta's sequel? No. That guy's only done single hits. Battlefield Earth. You think they went for a round 2? No.
You might have to search this up. This might be a Google search.
Oh my good Lord.
So we're not
good gravy.
Wasting these listeners'
good
time.
Gravy. Uma Thurman, what sequel besides Kill Bill?
Nothing.
I can't think of anything either.
Nothing.
Like, these people don't go back for reruns. Even though, aren't they doing a Face Off Part 2 with the original cast?
I hope.
I mean, that's what they're saying, right?
Let's hope so.
John Travolta. Let's go down this guy's whole catalog to find a sequel.
That's one of those movies.
Oh my God!
I'm willing to ruin the original Face Off by them attempting to make a Face Off 2.
Are you?
I am.
Okay, let's see. So far, I'm not finding anything with the number 2 on here, but he did do. What was that sequel? Be Cool. Be Cool is a sequel to Get Shorty. So there's that. There's that. You don't sound that impressed with that sequel whatsoever.
I mean, I'd rather do Be Cool than do. What'd you mention earlier?
From Dusk Till Dawn Part 2?
Yeah, probably.
Really?
Probably.
Look Who's Talking Now. We can do that one. We can finish off that series.
Okay. All right.
You said you wanted to do a comedy.
All right.
There's Look Who's Talking Now.
We could do that. It's absurd enough. Do you think we're going to have to pay $4 for it?
And it's Kirstie Alley's death day a few while ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been what?
And we got to do
3 months?
We got to do a tribute to that. Jenny Craig, graduate, Trump supporter. That was her shit, was Jenny Craig back in the day, right?
Yeah, I think so.
After,
I think so.
Yeah.
She had that reality show too.
Yeah.
It was just her eating food, right?
It's the first ASMR.
Yeah. Look Who's Talking Now.
Yep, there it is. Rent $3.99.
It's almost worth it for that reason. 29% on Rotten Tomatoes still exceeds Weekend at Bernie's too.
Oh my!
You never know.
God.
Never
Okay,
know.
I will give you $4. I'll give you here. I got actual cash on me. I'm going to give it to you right now.
It's okay. No, this is my gift to you.
No, this is my gift to you for the camera. There you go, for you. This is for Look Who's Talking Now.
All right. Look Who's Talking Now.
So that okay. So, all right. So we're gonna watch Look Who's Talking Now. We got to it in a really fun way. Would you not say that was fun?
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was
right?
okay.
Right? No, it was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay. It was fun. Okay, let's talk about Look Who's Talking 2. We're about to do Look Who's Talking Now.
This is 94. Do you remember when Look Who's Talking 2 came out? You're gonna look it up right now.
I think 92. Well, that's weird because on IMDb it says 93.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 1990 was Look Who's Talking 2.
So
1989.
Do you think that's the same kid?
No, it's definitely not. No, that kid is like that kid looks like he's more annoying, and so does that Julie.
Ooh, yeah.
That Julie looks like she's got Roseanne playing on in her head. Look at that. Look at that face. That's totally Roseanne right there.
It's gonna be so awful. Where do they get off charging $12.99 to own this on streaming?
Honestly, where does somebody get off spending $12.99? Like you can't think of something better to spend $13 on than Look Who's Talking Now, the fucking third installment to the Look Who's Talking trilogy. Someone must love Danny DeVito, or Kirstie Alley, or John Travolta, or even David Gallagher.
I think you and I are going to get a kick out of this. I'm excited.
I've seen it a bunch. Yeah, dude. Don't
Really?
raise that eyebrow. I mean, I've seen it at least 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it maybe once. Never all the way through.
I remember the dog's name and how it got its name. Because he took a shit in the house, and Mikey's like, we'll call him Rocks because he makes rocks.
Are those their actual hands?
No, those are totally Photoshopped fucking hands. And what is John Travolta resting his arm on? God. Okay, so what are your predictions for your feelings about this? Are you going to like Look Who's Talking 2 more than Look Who's Talking Now? And also, Look Who Isn't Talking Now. Oh!
I hardly remember it, but I doubt I'm going to like this much less
than
the second one.
I remember never liking this one, even though I've watched it a few times.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
No redeeming qualities about it?
No. I can't remember if the brother's in it again. You know, he went off to be a cop.
Yeah.
In our head.
Are you talking about
in our head.
Ninja Turtles? Casey Jones?
Yeah, Casey Jones guy. Yeah.
Huh. Guess what?
Chicken butt. What?
Well, I guess it depends. You said that IMDb said it was 1993.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that
this is 1994?
Do you think that Rotten Tomatoes rating is off then?
I don't know, but if this is correct, this year it would have come out the same year that Pulp Fiction did.
Oh my god!
Right?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Like it was meant to be.
No, Pulp Fiction didn't come out in 93.
94, I said.
Oh.
Pretty sure it was 94.
Yeah, it was 94. I don't know. That's just so weird, though. That's kind of rad, though, for John Travolta to go from this family-friendly bullshit to Vincent Vega.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Shows the range.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a bummer that he, started to do bullshit. I mean, Swordfish. He was great in Punisher. Wild Hogs. Hairspray was pretty good. But then he does straight to DVD shit. So it's kind of a bummer.
Did this go to the theater? Had to have. It was.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
You know what I want to do next week?
What's that? And remember that we're going to do it next week?
3 Men and a Little Lady.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. Look for 3 Men and a Little Lady, and if it's free, we'll do that instead.
Ooh, is that what we're doing? Are we switching it up like that?
That's how we're doing it. Mayfair Witches. I want to watch that.
No refunds, motherfucker. This isn't Walmart.
That's fine.
I'm kidding.
That's fine.
3 Men and a Little Lady. Now, see, the photo might make me want to. Oh,
boom! Right there.
Actually, no, we can't because they just switched Disney Plus. I was ripping off my ex's account.
Yeah.
So actually, no.
They canceled their Disney Plus?
Yeah.
What a bunch of bastards.
I know.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Why would you cancel Disney Plus? Why would you quit on Disney?
I know.
I can't wait to
I think it's probably
cancel all mine.
Top 3 best services for sure.
It's one I watch the most. I mean, it's got Marvel and Star Wars and Disney shit. Well, that's a bummer. Well, whatever. I'm stoked on Look Who's Talking Now. James is an actual pilot. He does that as for a living now. So Molly doesn't bitch about his career choices anymore. And the kids are not. I think the kids are more assholes now because they're older.
This is the last in the trilogy, right?
Yeah.
There's no more.
That is the end of
series.
The trilogy.
That's it?
No more. Unless you want to reboot it. Do you want to reboot it?
Yeah, I do.
You want to reboot Look Who's Talking?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll start working on the script. But in the meantime, let's watch Look Who's Talking now.
Could be done much better these days, I think.
Agreed.
You'd be able to match the, their lips could move with the actual voices.
It wouldn't look creepy at all
when they're not around the parents.
So you're talking using Geico baby technology?
No,
or not Geico. What was the baby? The stock one that Pete Holmes did. What was that fucking E-Trade?
Oh yeah,
E-Trade. So easy a baby can do it or whatever. Yeah. All right. Fucking Look Who's Talking now. God damn it.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
New Christmas movie unlocked. Bloop. Xbox achievement sound effect pop up. Look Who's Talking Now is a Christmas movie. Chad's looking at me like, shut the fuck up. Get over it.
Agreed. It's a Christmas movie.
I had no fucking clue.
I don't like the fact
under the radar whole time. You don't like the fact what?
That they started it out as if it weren't a Christmas movie, though.
That's bullshit. Totally did. Remember, Mikey sitting at the countertop. I want for Christmas a dog. And she says, why are you writing a Christmas letter? It's September. Already Christmas is mentioned at the beginning.
Why not just make it closer to that time? Why have this puppy have that interaction in the shelter prior? The puppy escapes, becomes this just stray of a dog.
No, the puppy didn't escape from the shelter. The puppy is... Did you even pay it? I was on my phone.
Know.
I was on my phone way more, and I know what fucking happened. So the dog is picked up by a biker family.
Right.
And the dog's like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. Becomes a stray.
Yeah.
Gets caught. Do you remember the reason why Mikey was getting a dog?
Why he was getting a dog? Well, the kids wanted a dog.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he gets one. Why was he getting one?
Oh, what did he do?
I
don't know.
Hour and 20 minutes ago, and you would have remembered. He found out Santa wasn't real, and he was having a conniption fit about it, and they had to appease him. So this is when I brought up the question: is time frame? This puppy escapes, lands with this homeless guy. This is what? Gestation of a dog is 9 months like a human, right?
Uh-huh.
So now it's September-ish, right? October, maybe. And then he escapes. He becomes a full-grown fucking dog, like a year-old type of dog, in the matter of 2 months.
Uh-huh.
I don't get the time frame.
Right.
So that's why they had to start the movie early, not just during the holiday season. Because how are you going to do a whole 4 weeks of December with this tiny-ass dog to fight off wolves to save James, who somehow falls into some white crud?
So leave the puppy out of it. Leave the puppy out of it altogether.
How? It's called Look Who's Talking Now, and the dog is the now. So what would you rather be the thing talking?
I don't know.
A full-grown dog? Clearly the kid chooses a mutt, so I guess they could have gone with a full-grown dog, but you had to show the birth canal bullshit that you had in the first two movies. You had to see the dog, the problem dog being born.
We're talking as if any of this matters. This was a bad movie.
I mean, it matters for the podcast. If we were sitting at a Applebee's and you're like, how was your day? Oh, I just watched Look Who's Talking Now. Oh, that sucks. End of conversation. Let's get a little bit more depth and descriptive about the things that we don't like.
I'm just saying there's not like there are a few tweaks that could have been made to make this movie any more enjoyable.
I'll tell you what, stick with your fucking theme and have the things doing the inner dialogue on the screen far more than you have the people on the screen using their mouths.
Yeah.
The whole point of the movie is the dogs being the ones talking now. But the premise of the movie is this two relationships insecurities.
See, and I'd play devil's advocate there and say that those moments that the dogs weren't talking were actually better. Like when we finally do get those scenes of the dogs interacting, it's like, okay,
I don't really care. Yeah,
it's probably best we didn't get more of this shit.
Yeah, no, it was a much better story of the family than the other movies. That's for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Julie's adorable. I love Julie so much in this. She's very cute, and her love for Charles Barkley is pretty awesome. It's pretty on point for the 90s because of Charles Barkley being so huge.
Yeah,
back in the early 90s because of him and the Suns and his rivalry with Jordan and shit from the 90s. Mikey was a little annoying about that Santa Claus bullshit.
A little bit.
You
said he threw a conniption fit. I think that's going a bit too far.
You don't think it was like him pouting, fucking arms crossed in his bed, and his parents is trying to make him happy by doing a performance? Do you know how long it took them to wrangle Julie to learn those fucking lines?
Right.
You could show a little bit more appreciation, Mikey, but instead he's sitting there and he's like, "No, not buying it." Oh, it's the cornball family or some fucking shit. Yeah, no, fuck him.
They could have done worse with Mikey is the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, they totally could have done worse. Where's her best friend? Mona.
Yeah.
You know, the one who had the hots for her brother.
Right.
Okay, you're going to have them off screen. Then maybe have like a letter, a Christmas card. Oh, it's a card from Mona and whatever my brother's name is. You know, reference right there. The mom and dad are in it again. They're in all three of them.
Yeah.
I do like the mom. She's funny.
You know, you always hope for little references like that. That's something you do with every sequel. You're like, why not just have a, home video that's got these people that were in the last one that we could see again? But even if we had that in this one, even if she opens up this Christmas card and was like, oh, hey, Mona. Oh, you would have been like, why couldn't we have at least gotten a scene of her riding the car?
There's always something else. There's always one more thing.
Why not a phone call?
Seriously. Oh, you don't even have to do the voice. You could just have, hey, Mona, how's it going? Yeah, James just got a job flying for some corporate bitch.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do pilots for private planes tend to hang out with their people? Like, do you fucking see pilots going around with The Rock?
Right.
To all of his fucking shit that he goes to? I follow him on Instagram, and he's posting pictures of him on a plane, so I can't imagine the pilot being like, yeah, I can't wait to go to fucking steak with you tonight.
Right.
So what do corporate pilots do when they're not flying their commissions? Like, do they hang out and just wait to being called? I don't know. I feel like you can't make up a job and not have some kind of weird, like, why the fuck is he hanging out with this chick as if he's her private assistant?
That's what it seems like.
He's her fucking pilot.
Seems like a pretty sweet gig.
He doesn't work for her. He works for the airlines that probably docks her plane. Or he does work for her, but only when she needs flying.
Yeah.
So if they are there for a week, I'm sure he's taking other jobs flying while he's waiting to take her back to
You would think.
You would think. So you create this conflict in this movie. Makes no fucking sense. Talking dogs makes way more sense than that.
It's almost like she created this position solely to try and get this romantic relationship started.
So you think she was holding interviews for fuckboys?
Maybe.
But she's only into pilot fuckboys.
Maybe.
Comes across hairy knuckle John Travolta and was like, I like the cut of your jib. This is it. This is the one I've been waiting for this whole fucking time.
Yeah.
And then he meets Molly. Icing on the fucking cake because this chick can't keep her shit together. She just lost her job.
Right.
She's got money. She's secure. And then the cabin. The snowstorm. How the fuck do you plan that?
Yeah.
How do you plan that?
Right.
fucking everything works in this lady's favor except for what's his character's name? John Travolta's character, James. Except for James's wiener, didn't work for her. Only worked for Molly.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, can't get what you want.
If only she wouldn't have pulled the phone cord out of the wall.
Very obviously leaving it out in the open too. Like you move this tree to cover the crime, but the tree's the tree's dying. Yeah, it's barely covering anything.
And he was mad because did he try the phone?
Yeah,
earlier?
She said it's dead too. Ah, bugger, it's dead too.
I mean, isn't it kind of his own fault for not like looking then?
Well, because he's trusting. He trusted her. He totally trusted.
I mean, the way it looked, somebody just tripped over that fucking cord and it came out of the wall.
Dude, she photoshopped a fake fax to make him think that they had to stay there. The lengths she went.
I know, but
the lengths she went to fucking bang this previously taxi driver.
I'll tell you what, I would let her leave rocks all over my back seat. I can tell you that.
So you'd let her shit all over your back seat. That's what you would do. You'd be like, oh, she's like, oh, sorry, Chad. Looks like I poopied all over your back seat. You're like, hey, that's fine.
I feel like that's fine.
That's fine.
Where are we going for the holiday?
So she went through all of this process to bang James. But she's like, why? I don't get it. It's not like she's unattractive. It's not like she was swarmed by 6 dudes at that restaurant. So what is it about James? Like, why? I want to know. Why wasn't there a scene where she's like, James, you got everything I need. You're a Neanderthal. I love you, James. Like, why wasn't there anything in that? Why?
Mysteries of cinema.
It's funny to me. It's just funny to me. Diane Keaton was the voice of the poodle.
Unnecessary, really, for it to have been Diane Keaton.
Well, I think that this is what I thought about when I saw it when I was a kid, that they continued down the path with the 2 think talkers, because the second one had Roseanne Barr and Bruce Willis, so this one had to have Danny DeVito and Diane Keaton. Polar opposites again, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like whenever, I mean, what did you picture? 1994, close your mind's eye, Danny DeVito, what are you picturing?
As far as 1994 goes?
Yeah.
Probably, oh shit.
You're so bad at this.
What was that movie where he was
Batman Returns?
No.
That's 1992.
My Cousin Vinny is probably what crosses my mind.
Danny DeVito and My Cousin Vinny.
Wasn't he Danny? Wasn't Danny DeVito?
No.
Or was that Joe Pesci?
That was Joe Pesci.
I don't know.
Anyways,
pick your fucking Danny DeVito movie.
I just did. Oswald Cobblepot, 1992. But that's like when you picture those, and then you picture Diane Keaton, the poodle, like the non-trash, and that's what you picture as Danny DeVito is like the trash, you know. But then when you got Bruce Willis doing the voice, and then Roseanne Barr, it's kind of like the polar opposites, where you go from, like Bruce Willis is the Diane Keaton in this scenario that I'm saying. Anyways, that's where my thought process was in 1994 when I was 13 years old watching this movie.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci. My Cousin Vinny. Who started that? Gina Davis? Biological clock. Yeah, it was Gina Davis. She won the Oscar for it. Oh, Chad. I almost wonder if sometimes you just do that just to fuck with me. just to fuck with me. Yeah, the dogs could have just been Danny DeVito. You know? Could have just been Danny DeVito.
And even then, I mean, I like Danny DeVito, but you know.
What's a fourth one called, Chad?
Look who's talking again.
That's what you would call it? Look who's talking again? And who's doing the talking? Who's doing the talking? Is Molly have dementia and she just stands there staring at a cooler and she's just like, Swanson's chicken, Swanson's chicken, Swanson's chicken. That's just what's going on in her head the whole time.
It's a better movie.
And then James comes and he's like, "Oh, Molly, are you thinking about the chicken again?" And they both have dementia, and it's Mikey and Julie that have to take care of them. Look who's talking again. Parents edition. Yeah, it's a much better version, for sure. Much better version. Well, you ready for the IMDb reviews and shit?
Yeah, why not?
You ready? Or do you not have anything else you want to riff on about this movie?
Not really. I just don't like it.
Just don't, okay, what do you give it then?
I don't even really want to give it anything, but I guess a 3.
You give it a 3? It's that bad? You're not going to watch it during Christmas? It's a Christmas movie.
No way.
I'm definitely putting it on the list.
Are you?
I enjoyed it. Like I said,
much?
Julie's adorable. Her daydream sequence. Everyone had daydreams in this movie. Except for Mikey. Right. I don't think Mikey had daydreams. Did he?
I don't know. I'm sure he did.
Daydreamed about a dog or something. Molly daydreamed about finding James. No, James daydreamed about Molly finding him as an icicle. Molly daydreamed about him dancing with her. He daydreamed that she was dancing. Oh, yeah. Fucking dude from the first one's back. Mikey's dad. So you got the actor. Why didn't you have him show up to give hey, I'm out of nowhere, coming out of nowhere,
right? To
be back in Mikey's life. And then what else daydreams was there? There was more daydreams, wasn't there?
I don't know. Do you think I could pull off that blue blazer?
Maybe if it was 1994, you could. That was his fashion choices were terrible. By the way, the fucking light tie in the beginning, I tried to get you to turn around, but they fucking CG'd the lights to flash. Right. Like movie magic when they add milk into the water and singing in the rain because it wouldn't appear on film. So it's like the lights wouldn't appear on film, so they're like, "Oh, we'll just take care of it in post-op."
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Right. Cut the whole scene. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'd give this movie a 3, but I enjoyed it far more as an enjoyable 3.
Enjoyable. I mean, semi-enjoyable 3.
Semi-enjoyable? Well, most average IMDb give it a 4.4, so people are a little bit kinder than we are about this movie.
Yeah.
But the really kind people, let's hear what they have to say.
Okay.
This first one caught me because I like the title. Number 94 on the worst movies list? I don't think there's a question there. I think it's kind of obvious.
It's a little high, actually.
Yeah. That movie was much better than that. It was so cool to hear the dogs talk, and it was also cool to see how Mikey and his sister would be like when they are older.
She makes it, first of all, she makes it sound like the dogs were actually talking. It was so cool. They made those dogs talk.
How did they do that? How did they do that? This was actually one of the best movie sequels, and we get to see how the boy on Seventh Heaven was when he was younger. Oh, this is a Bible thumper who loves Seventh Heaven. This movie was so funny. It might not have been the best movie, but it deserved much better rating than 94 on the worst movie of all times list. I mean, if going in reverse where a higher number on the worst movie list was better, yeah, I guess.
I feel like they were fixated on that.
Well, clearly, I mean, they end their review with the title.
They started going through the list of the 100 worst movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
They started at 100. They worked their way down. They went through some real stinkers.
Mm-hmm.
They got to 94. They're thinking this is probably going to be a big piece of shit too.
Mm-hmm.
And it just exceeded those very fucking low expectations.
What are the reactions to when you got to that 94 and you loved this movie so much and you're just like going down the list and you're like, God, I hope it's not on here. Ah! To IMDb with this.
So if this movie is 94 on the list, where does Bulletproof 2 sit?
Well, this is before Bulletproof 2 existed.
Oh, I know.
So,
the list even?
Yeah, this review is from 2003.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure the list is updated at this point, but I'm not about to search for that shit. All right, you ready for this one? Mm-hmm. The ratings of this movie shows everything what is wrong with IMDb. December 23rd, 2020. This is one of those Christmas movies that always sticks with you. Really underrated. Ignore the ratings. It is quite a great family movie. No, it's not. It's not. It's funny. Julie's knock-knock jokes were cute. It was funny. Family, I don't know.
It wasn't funny.
I mean, there was a lot of like sexual innuendo and tension all over the place. James and Molly just making out every time he's leaving. I mean, whatever, that's fine. But like, you can't call it a family movie, I don't think, in that sense.
Well, not after what she say. It's not that I wouldn't mind seeing her on the side of the road decomposing. Whatever she said.
Oh yeah, about how her feelings about Samantha. Yeah. Okay, one more. Let me see if I can find a really good one. This one's called Look Who's Talking Now. Very good film. I like the way they use dogs and not babies this time. The dogs are very funny and are good entertainment. I like Rox better than Daphne, but Daphne gets to be more likable as it gets further into the film.
Agreed.
She's all right until she's like, oh, Rox, I'm sorry I set you up, but I did it. I'm a dick. I shouldn't have done that.
So that was the whole thing?
That was it.
And that was a 10?
That was a 10.
I think if you give something a 10, you're required to write at least a couple paragraphs worth of why it deserves the highest score you can give a film.
Especially with those lower ratings. And I'll be honest, every 10 here isn't more than just 5 or 6 sentences. Let's see how long 1 out of 10s are.
Right.
Okay, there's 2 written. That's it. And they're not that long.
Piece of shit.
I mean, it just mostly seems like people just reviewed it with the stars and nobody gives a shit enough to write stuff other than the people who like actually really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read these 2 since there's only 2 and they're short. This one's long, but okay. Look Who Sucked. That's what this one's called. Okay, John Travolta needed some money to buy a plane, so my guess is that's why he starred in this poorly written idea of crap. Instead of throwing this one to the dogs, they should have given these 2 old tykes another sibling to make their lives hell. But of course, someone just said, hey, why don't we try animals? And again, these people failed. The original and its copy should be on the 100 most lamest movie ever made and be burned. Enough said. I mean, that would be a good one. Have a 3rd kid.
I guess.
I mean, stick with the recipe.
But the second one fucking sucked.
I mean, the 3rd one could have been better.
By doing the same thing?
By doing the same thing. Let's do it all over again. Complete garbage. An embarrassment of riches. What were they thinking when they made this? As a kid, I loved it, and it's mainly for kids. But as an adult, I'm just embarrassed by the whole film.
As a kid, I loved it. I think if you're able to say that, then
what embarrassed him? Was it the dancing scene that was just so weird, and you're just like, "Oh, this makes me feel weird," like the dancing scene in Juno with Jason Bateman and Elliot Page.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that was so awkward, and not embarrassing, but just awkward. But like nothing about this made me feel that way. Generally, I feel that way in most things. So I want to know what they mean. Again, if you're going to write something, come on. Just a little bit more depth in there. All right. At Sequilibrium Podcast, Instagram, podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, all that. Like, subscribe, write a review more than 5 sentences long about your feelings.
I love it.
What are we doing next week?
3 men and a little
Okay,
lady.
we're officially doing 3 Men and a Little Lady for reals this time. So I'm going to watch 3 Men and a Baby because it's been a while.
Same.
I love that movie, though. It's still really good in the back of my mind. It's Leonard Nimoy directed it.
Oh, yeah.
The first
you told
one.
Me that. You told me that.
So I'm going to watch that one.
And that's the one with the infamous ghost scene, too.
Yeah, but you know what it is, right?
Crew member.
No, it's so remember in the movie they showed the cardboard cutout of Ted Danson in the Chiquita Banana type of outfit for like a role he had or something. That's what it was. It was just a prop. It was just but it was the shadow was so fucking perfect. It was so perfect. Great urban legend story.
Yeah.
Which I guess maybe we can get into when we do the episode.
Yeah.
I'll look up.
Well.
Maybe I'll do a little bit of research and
should.
shit. All right. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody.